Hey guys, welcome back. So I just want to hit you guys up with this story. This is from Sky News Australia discussing Hamas gunmen carry out public execution. The crazy thing is that didn't they just broker like a peace deal amongst Hamas and Israel? So I'm wondering what this has to do with that and or what's going on here, because would this like cause like pushback, like oh my gosh, it's crazy. Let's get into it.
A graphic video has shown Hamas fighters conducting a public execution of alleged Israeli collaborators.
Wow.
The footage here shows Hamas gunmen lining up 7 men in a public square and shooting them from behind.
Dude, what the hell?
Hamas confirmed the authenticity of the video. The group told Reuters they will not be tolerating any violations of order in Gaza. Palestinian security sources say dozens of people have been killed in clashes between Hamas fighters and rival tribal groups in recent days.
Depends on what level you want to go down to, but you've got Hamas and allied groups who are, if you like, of an Islamist stamp. You've also got non-Islamist hardline Palestinians who reject any accommodation with Israel. And then you've got some groups who are not allied with Hamas. And then you've got clans and families. In many cases, those people are against Hamas as well.
So what you got there is a power vacuum. We've seen this before. Joining us live on our Wednesday morning is our panel with 2 men with experience in intelligence communities in Canberra. Labor MP Julian Hill, Liberal MP Philip Thompson. Good morning to you both. So Julian, I'll start with you here. How concerned are you about a war, if you like, within a war?
A war within a war, Pete?
A war within a war. You've got a war within a war. If you want me to spell it out, you've got a small kind of civil war between these rival groups in Gaza now. That small picture, while you've got the bigger war, which Donald Trump now has conceded is over.
Happy to comment on that. I thought you were talking about the coalition and the Liberal Party and their civil war. Look, that video is disgusting, and it reinforces the position the government's taken. To list Hamas as a terrorist group and make clear that they can have no role in the future governance of a Palestinian state.
Philip, as someone who knows a bit about warfare, what do you make of this power vacuum?
Well, it's quite concerning, and hearing from President Trump earlier saying that if Hamas doesn't disarm, he'll disarm them. It is very concerning to see that there is conflict that is bubbled over again and executions happening. We should be keeping a close eye on it, because if it isn't controlled, it will explode into militia-style conflict throughout the region. It's something that we don't want to see, especially in times of peace talking.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we'd be facing if we went in with peacekeeping troops. John O'Duniam supported that yesterday. If we were asked, big caveat there, would you support that, Philip, peacekeeping?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. Like, do you think this is going to cause any issues for the peace deal that they just signed or did? And if so, how will this affect it? Like, I don't know. Like, it sounds like it's incel fighting, but then again, the fact that they're doing this to, I believe the guy said Israeli people, even if they did it to their own, it's still horrible. This is still disgusting.
Troops to Gaza?
I think it's a bit early right now to be talking about setting Australians as peacekeepers, especially since we're only now seeing the release of hostages. Not all of the bodies of the hostages have been released. It's still in turmoil and conflict and things like that. It will put people in danger. And if you're going over to be a peacekeeper, it's not supposed to be in a kinetic role. You're not supposed to be gunfighting. You're supposed to be there to make sure that the peace is stable and happening with linking backs to the nation, the UN, the US. I don't think we're there yet because of these public executions. If Australians were there now, it would be a kinetic fight and it would draw in every other nation. So I think we've got to watch this from a distance, but also make sure that we're standing closely with our allies in the US and the UK and offer support where they think it's needed. But right now, it'd be in a gunfight.
How would you feel about peacekeepers, Julian?
I mean, the government would consider any requests for contributions to international efforts in the normal way. I'll make one point. I've said for years, I think on your show, Pete, in forums and elsewhere, that my view about this decades-old conflict is that it will only end when the world sets limits to the conflict and intervenes collectively to guarantee the security of the State of Israel and the Palestinian state.
Let's get now to that topic that Julian just referred to. So I'll go back to you, Phil, because James Patterson, he's joining us in the show in about 15 minutes, but he wants to stop the election post-mortem. He wants to move on, to get back to fighting the government. But is your infighting over with?
I hope so. What I want to see for the Liberal parties to be a good opposition that can hold the government to account, that can have its own policies that we can take to an election. The difference is, though, from the coalition to the Labor Party is we can have discord, we can disagree, and as you've seen, we have. We don't get kicked out of the party for doing that. The Labor Party, you disagree, you get kicked out. Senator Payman, for example. So I want us to get back to what we should be doing, and that's developing policies to be a great alternative to take to the Australian people at the next election. What
do you think of James Patterson's remarks overnight, Julian?
Well, I agree with the first point Phil made. I want the opposition to actually behave like a good opposition. It's important in the Westminster system. We've got a good government at the moment. We don't have a functioning opposition. When Senator Price described the opposition as a clown show. She'd been a member of the Liberal Party for about 5 minutes, then she quit and she described them as a clown show. Phil, I reckon your pronouns now are clown and circus. But I'd take issue with one thing.
I don't have pronouns, my friend.
He said
that's a you thing.
He said the apology tour has to end. I don't think the apology tour has started. I haven't heard any serious remorse for the mess they made in government of robo-debt, of trashing Medicare GP bulk billing, of a deliberate policy for a decade to suppress wages and keep workers' wages low, of doubling the national debt before COVID, bequeathing us the worst productivity decade in 60 years, or 24 or 28 coal-fired powered stations announcing their closure, and they did literally nothing. I don't think their apology tour has yet started. They haven't confronted the actual reality of their dreadful record in government, that wasted decade of decay and division. And they've got a long way to go, but keep talking about themselves. That's all they seem to be good at.
Well, Julian, I mean, the Labor Party had a rough week, though, with your backflip over super. Did you know that you were selling a bad policy when I was asking you about it?
Oh, cute frame, Pete. I'll give you points for that. But remember, we've been talking about this for the last couple of years, about how to make the super system stronger, fairer and more sustainable. And we've been listening, we've been consulting. You know, we've listened to the discussion that we've had here on this show many times. And the proposition that we've put forward is good for low-income Australians, and it better targets the concessions for people with super balances of $3 million and $10 million indexed, which is a point I think you and Phil have been advocating for. You know, I think this is a good policy process.
Right.
Superannuation changes shouldn't be rushed. They've gone through a cabinet process. We've listened carefully. And we've reached a really good landing point that's good for Australians and particularly good for low-income earners.
You can't say, though, that Jim Chalmers really wanted this to be the landing point, though, can you?
Well, I think you're engaging in speculation, and I understand that's your job.
Well, I know I asked him many times over it, and he wasn't moving on it. He wasn't moving on it until this week.
Well, you know, I'd remind you how cabinet government runs. I like our system of government, right? I do not want to change our system of government. It's a Westminster system of government. We've inherited it from the British tradition. It's a good system. What that means is that ministers take propositions to cabinet, they debate them, they test them, they announce what the government's intention is. We did that. We've then consulted, we've listened carefully to feedback, we've looked at alternative options and better ways to actually make the system fairer, listening to that feedback.
All right.
And we've announced the landing point. I mean, that's a good government. We didn't see that from the previous mob. Remember, cabinet committees of one with Scott Morrison, secret ministries, captain's calls, that all ended well, didn't it?
Well, Justina, you heard that. So I don't know what to make of it right now. I think a lot of it is kind of just getting out of hand. And so I definitely think that we need to, Trump needs to, I guess, figure out what they're going to do about this in regards to what this is all going to be perceived. So for the whole, Hamas, shooting that they're doing, and is there going to be any repercussions? How does this how does this go with the peace deal? So you guys let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. And I will talk to you guys later.